Hi there. Welcome to Live with the Paper Pixie, episode 316. I'm Julie DiMatteo, the Paper Pixie, coming to you live from Alpharetta, Georgia. Today is Wednesday, January 31st, 2024. Cannot believe it's the end of January. If you're watching us live as you're rolling on in, say hello and where you're watching from, and hello to my replay watchers. I want to also give a special shout out to my Pixie patrons. You'll recognize them by the little magic wand icon next to their name. They are supporting our YouTube channel here, and they get a couple of fun perks with their YouTube membership. We have a monthly members-only live stream. They get behind-the-scenes sneak peeks. They got to see a sneak peek of tonight's project earlier today. And a couple other behind-the-scenes stuff they get to see on the community tab of the YouTube channel. If you're interested in joining my YouTube channel, there is a join button near the subscribe button. You may not see it depending on what device you're using. So if you're using iOS, you want to be going to your browser as opposed to the YouTube app to see that join button. So tonight I am doing an Easter project using the Excellent Eggs bundle, and it is a Easter egg teacup treat holder. I'm excited about this one. I had an idea in my head, and then I just kept going and going and going, and I think the handle was the last minute addition, and I love the way that it looks. So we're going to be focusing on that tonight, trying to get it to focus there. Let's see, what else do I have for you? Oh, if you have questions for me tonight, be sure to put a Q in front of that question. That will allow me to queue up all your questions for the end of tonight's live stream, so I can focus on tonight's project, but I will stay on to answer all of your questions that come through live. Brian's also helping me. He's over here watching the chat as well. When you shop with me, you earn Pixie perks on orders of $25 or more. All you need to do to earn Pixie perks is to use my magic shopping link, thepaperpixie.com/shop. That's a magic link that will automatically add me as your demonstrator and add my current host code to your order. Now, if your order is going to be $150 or more, you'll want to take off that host code because you'll earn Stampin' Rewards from Stampin' Up, but you'll also still earn Pixie perks from me as well. We are in the midst of celebration. We're about to kick off month number 2. Celebration goes through February 29th, a leap year this year. We get that extra day, and it's an opportunity to earn free products with purchases, as well as if you decide to join the Stampin' Up family. So for every $50 purchase, you get to choose a free item. If you place a large order of $300 or more, you get an additional $30 in Stampin' Rewards. And if you join the Stampin' Up family, you pay $99 plus taxes. It ships for free, which is an 11% additional discount. But you'll get to choose $125 in product of your choice. And then you have 2 options to choose from, either an additional $30 in product on top of that, or the Stampin' Glass Mat Studio, which is a $60 value. So that's the better value of the bunch. That's available through February 29th. Let's see. Tomorrow is a fun day for demonstrators. It's a pre-order period for some new online exclusive products that are coming. I've seen a sneak peek of a few of them, and I am in love. So any of you who are coffee drinkers, there's going to be a really awesome suite. So pre-order for demonstrators starts tomorrow. It is one of my favorite perks of being part of the Stampin' Up family, because we get to order products a little bit early before it launches to customers. The online exclusives will launch to everyone on March 5th, I believe is the date. But you'll start to see some sneak peeks from me and other demonstrators as we get our hands on that new product. So that's the scoop for tomorrow. I think there may be some new celebration items coming based on what I saw in the South Pacific online store. So stay tuned for that tomorrow, February 1st. Let's see. I do have show and tell tonight. It's been a while. Nolan has been my little chef, and he asked me what my favorite meal is, and my favorite meal is cheese and crackers. Well, it's a family thing. Is Bubba G in the house yet? Our Ferlito family dinners we always had on Sunday nights. We'd watch America's Funniest Videos, and we'd have cheese and crackers and orange slices. And so I didn't get the cheese and crackers, but I got orange slices. I got a cup of coffee, and this is actually a yogurt cup, which I thought was pretty cute how he did the little colored like foil top. I'm trying to think, like this is supposed to be like a little Yoplait container. Then of course I have to have a fork and a spoon to eat that. So Nolan is our second grader. He is 8 and he loves Legos, but it's been a while since I did a show and tell from the kids. Now Lily was home from school today with what we suspect is strep throat. So it's been one of those days. And my next door neighbors, our next door neighbors that have been next door for the 13 years we've been here, they're moving away tomorrow. I'm super happy for them, but I'm sad that they're going. So it's just been one of those days, but I am excited about tonight's project. So here we go. This is the Excellent Eggs bundle. Let me tell you a little bit about the project first. This is much easier than it looks, I promise you. I've got a little Happy Easter on the little teacup handle. I mean, it's not really a teacup, but I originally sized it to fit one of the Reese's peanut butter eggs. This is the 0.6 ounce or 17 gram size, which is just perfect for a sweet little treat. But it's got a little box, like an open topped box that is sandwiched between 2 eggs. Now, I'm actually gonna finish off the back of this. This is my sample. We're going to add designer series paper and some grass to the back as well. But what I love about this bundle of products is there's just so many fun things you can do with it. So it is the Excellent Eggs bundle. Here is the stamp set, which is great for Easter, thinking of you, and spring. You've got 2 different eggs, stamps, images. You got the little chocolate bunny. And then here are the dies that come with it. And I love the egg dies. So even if you don't get the stamp set, the dies are a must-have for Easter and spring. These 3 eggs have stitching detail to them. All 3 are slightly different. Obviously, they're different in size. And this little egg is fun. We're going to play with this one. I'm going to do a little bit of inlay here with different colors of cardstock. You've got a little scalloped edge and a rounded edge here, or curved edge, a little, what do you call that? Zigzag. I know there's a name for it, but whenever I'm live, my brain just can't come up with words. So rick-rack, is that right? Brian's looking at me like, what? So that's the bundle, and you will find that on page 27 of the mini catalog. So take a look at the samples that you can see here. They've got a little box here as well that they've, my guess is what they've done is a strip of cardstock that is scored and then sliced a number of times so that you can curve that paper. But my inspiration for tonight's box actually comes from the sample on page 69 of the catalog, the bundle index. And I love this little layout with the chocolate bunny and the eggs. So that's kind of where my inspiration came from and turned it into a little treat holder. So that was page 69 and what did I say, 27? Yes, 27 and 69 of the mini catalog. That's the January to April 2024 mini. And then I love, love, love the Lighter Than Air. Is that what this one is called? I'm looking. Yes, the Lighter Than Air designer series paper. Let me show you the swatch here. Perfect colors for spring and Easter. This would be a really cute background as well for the eggs. Any of these, really. So this is a great 6x6 designer series paper. Beautiful colors. I love that. So let me get my supplies here and we'll get started. Yeah, rick-rack is more fun. More fun to say. All right, so believe it or not, the base of this, and let me tell you before I get started, in the description of this video, so below this video, there is a link to a free project sheet that will have a QR code to bring you back to this video, picture of the template, a picture of the project, the measurements, and then just some featured supplies that I used. I will add a full supplies list to the video description. either tonight or early in the morning. All right, I ran out of time to do that. So we're gonna start with a piece of Lemon Lolly cardstock. I love this beautiful yellow. And this piece measures 2.5 by 5.5. So you can get a handful of these out of an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. All right, so along the 5.5-inch side, we're gonna go ahead and score this at 1 3/4, 2.5, 4 1/4, and 5. Let me repeat those again. Did I do that one already? There we go. Okay, so 1 3/4, 2.5, 4 1/4, and 5. I'm gonna turn it clockwise and score this at 3/4. Really simple scoring for this. I'm gonna bring in the template here. All right, so the next thing I'm gonna do is fold and burnish on all the score lines. All right, so we've done that. I'm gonna grab my paper snips here, and we're gonna go ahead and cut this like the template. So I like to focus on that side tab here. I'm gonna come in and actually miter cut on either side of it. We're gonna end up removing this lower rectangle in the corner there. So I'm gonna then come with the 3/4 of an inch horizontal score line there at the bottom. I always cut from the back. It's just easier for me to see those score lines. But I'm gonna cut up each of the vertical score lines, stopping at that horizontal score line. And as we do this on this lower rectangle corner, because I miter cut it already, that piece is gonna get removed. So let me flip it around so you can see that. So we just removed that little corner rectangle there. Then the next thing I'm gonna do is fold these larger sections up and out of the way to isolate those 3/4 inch tabs. And then I'm just gonna come in and miter cut those. There we go. Oh, Deanna, that's a good point. So you can decide whichever side you want to add your handle to, believe it or not. All right, so that's the template, really straightforward. Again, I figured out how to do the dotted lines, you know, what's scored versus cut. So now what we can do is turn this into a box. I'm gonna get liquid glue here. I'm gonna flip it to the back side. So I've got my little tab here on the left, and I'm actually gonna fold on the second score line from the left and apply liquid glue to that little 1/2 inch tab. And then I'm gonna fold on the first score line from the right and just press everything flat there. Just make sure that's good and adhered. All right, so that is where our seam is. So this is gonna be the back of the box. And I just pay attention to that for when I assemble the bottom of the box. So I'm gonna go ahead and fold the tabs in first and put a little bit of liquid glue on the tabs, keep them in place. And then liquid glue on the front flap. So again, that's the flap opposite from where our seam is, okay? So I like to kind of set that flat on my work surface, fold the one that doesn't have adhesive first, and then the one that does. And then I just kind of pinch and square up the bottom there. And then I'm just gonna take my bone folder and just press. I don't think maybe the top of the glue bottle fits in there, but I just take something to kind of just press those tabs down on the inside. Okay, and if you don't like seeing the tabs, you could sandwich them between the flaps, but they don't bother me. All right, so that is basically the basics of the box. This box measures 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 3/4. So that's sort of the usable dimensions. Got another Reese's peanut butter egg here. I just like to fold basically the packaging out of the way, and that'll fit in there with a little bit of room. So there's obviously other treats that could fit in here as well. It's a little narrow for Ghirardelli squares, the regular size. You could get the minis in there for sure. But if we've got some time, I'll try a couple other treats in here as well. Now, part of the handle, the way the handle kind of came about is I was thinking of adding a handle to the top, but then I realized that was going to kind of get in the way of the candy going in. And then for some reason I was like, I wonder if I could make a little like teacup handle. And then I thought it was weird, and then I kind of loved it when I was done with it. So we're going to work on that piece next, just because it's going to be a little bit easier to adhere in the box before we glue the eggs to it. So for that, I've just got a strip of lemon lolly that measures just under 3/4 of an inch. So I cut it to like a hair less than 3/4 by 5.5. That's about the size. Now we're gonna stamp this before we do our, I'm gonna do kind of break the fibers down a little bit with the bone folder. So let me get my ink pad. And I'm actually gonna do both stamping elements while we've got the ink pad out. So we've got early espresso. And I've got a scrap piece of pecan pie, which I thought this paired with early espresso was a pretty cute chocolate combination. So let's do the bunny first. So this is the bunny from the Excellent Eggs. I keep wanting to say excellent eggs, but it's Excellent Eggs. So the bunny, and I love the style of this bunny because it just looks like a chocolate bunny with the way that they've added the details to it. So there's that guy. And then we're gonna go ahead and stamp Happy Easter. Now, I mount on my clear blocks, usually at an angle. For some reason, it's just easier for me to line it up. If you wanted to make sure you were stamping it straight, just the easiest way for me with the red rubber is to just mount it on a clear block and then stamp it onto grid paper and just kind of see where we're at. So I did cut a couple strips of this just in case I don't get it straight, but I just kind of have an idea. Okay, so that's pretty straight. I'm gonna bring up the right side just a little bit as I stamp, but I'm gonna stamp for me because I'm gonna put the handle on the right side because I'm right-handed. I'm gonna stamp it towards the right side. If you're gonna put a left-handed handle on it, I would stamp it on the left side. Just so that I don't know, there's probably a right way and a wrong way to when you read the sentiment, but I have it looking like that when you turn it this way. And so if you're gonna do it on the left, I would put it that way. So stamp on the left for a left-handed handle, stamp on the right for a right-handed. That would be my recommendation. All right, let's see. I'm gonna go this way because this edge seems to be flatter for me. That is close enough for me, okay? Happy Easter. I love that font. All right, so now I'm gonna let that dry just a smidge. I'm going to take my bone folder and I just sandwich the cardstock between my thumb and the bone folder, and I'm just gently kind of curling, breaking down the fibers a bit. This is to make it easier to tell the cardstock who's boss. All right, so the way that this is gonna go in our box is the end that we didn't stamp on is gonna go into the box, and we cut it to just under 3/4 of an inch because this box is 3/4 of an inch wide. So we would have no difficulty with that fitting in the box. I have this going all the way to the bottom of the box, but you can play around with different sizes for the handle, whatever your preference is. It doesn't have to go all the way down, but I'm gonna go ahead and kind of, with my eyes, kind of measure. So I've got that pushed down to the bottom, and I'm just with my thumbnail, just kind of leaving it there because I don't want to put glue past that point, okay? Let's get my liquid glue. Use a pencil if you need to as well. All right, so I want the seam to be in the back, and we're gonna adhere this to the right wall. So I'm just pressing that in, just kind of pinching on either side. Bubba G's in the house. Hey, Gregors. We were just talking about Sunday night dinners in the Ferlito family household. Cheese and crackers, orange slices, and America's Funniest Videos. All right, so I've just pressed that on the inside. And then what I'm going to do is this is going to adhere to the bottom here. So I'm going to just a little bit go the opposite direction towards the bottom. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to put liquid glue, I don't know, about 1/2 inch or so. It's right there at the bottom. And then I'm going to place that where I want it. I'm going right down to the bottom of the box there. And I'm going to just hold that in place while I get my one of my fingers inside the box and one on the outside. And we're just going to hold that. Super easy. When you curve the cardstock, you can kind of get it to look just the way you want it. And you can kind of press down a little bit here just to give you that really cool teacup handle. Okay. Now different cardstock colors are going to behave a little bit differently. So I found with the lemon lolly, and it's just because of the ink formulation. This is on the stiffer end of our cardstocks. So you may have a little bit more fluid of a handle depending on what color you decide to use. But that should hold fast there. You can just kind of shape it the way that you want it. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and put together our eggs. And I've done all of the die cutting ahead of time for this just to save some time. But again, the dies are from the Excellent Eggs dies. I'm going to just dump out all of my pieces and parts. I got a lot of pieces here. I will talk about all of them. But I've got 2 pieces of the egg cut out of lemon lolly, and the egg that we're using is the medium, the one in the middle. Okay, so you can create boxes for all these different sizes of eggs. I went for the medium one just because I thought it was kind of that Goldilocks and the 3 Bears just right. So I've got 2 of those out of lemon lolly, and then 2 I cut from the Lighter Than Air designer series paper. Kind of wishing I did the polka dots because that pattern was super cute too. But I'm actually, because I wanted the structure of the cardstock for the eggs, I'm going to just glue the designer series paper right over those. This is a cute side as well. You just want to pay attention to which side you want on the outside, and that's the side you're going to cut using the dies. So liquid glue is your friend here because you can line up those edges. And when you've die cut pieces with the same die, they line up really, really easily. A lot of times that stitching, those grooves just fit right into each other. So there's one. And 2. There we go. All right, so now that we've got these pieces, I'm actually going to go ahead and I think we're going to work on one of the eggs. So the egg in the die set will not only will it cut out the egg and add the embossing here, or the stitching elements, but it will also cut out these inlay pieces. So if you cut a few eggs with different colors of cardstock, now I cut out quite a few from the coordinating colors in the Lighter Than Air designer series paper, you can piece these pieces together to create a really cool looking egg. So I did, this one is Pool Party, Azure Afternoon, Fresh Freesia, and Lemon Lolly. And from cutting all those different colors, I've got all of these eggs. And I think I want to do the Fresh Freesia. And then I have all these pieces from the different colors. So let's do Fresh Freesia. So I'm going to go ahead and glue that one down. If you wanted to use adhesive sheets for this, you could, if you really wanted the adhesive to be everywhere. I'm just going to add a little bit of liquid glue where there's not stitching, okay? So just a couple dots of liquid glue. And I'm kind of centering that egg in the medium-sized egg. And then this is the fun part, is we can just kind of pick and place. We'll do one with lemon lolly. Let's see. Maybe one with pool party. And those are just going to nestle right in there. I will glue them down, but I'm kind of just getting the colors that I would like. And I think Calypso Coral. Let's do that. All right, let me get my reverse tweezers. Maybe. I need a better spot because they're shorter than all my other supplies. And my take your pick tool I may need. All right, let's start with the pool party piece. And I'm holding it with my reverse tweezers and adding a little bit of liquid glue. Then we'll place that into place. Then our lemon lolly piece. I'm being ambidextrous tonight. This will be a really cute element for 3D projects and cards alike. But I love the fun you can have. Now, obviously, you don't have to do the inlay at all. That egg is adorable without the inlays. Get that guy out. Pinching with my left hand is so weird. All right, then press that piece down. Cute. Okay, so let me get these pieces. I'm going to save these for when I make more of these, because once you make one, you can't stop, or at least that's what happens for me with 3D projects. I can't stop. All right, so once you decide, well, we've decided we're gonna have our handle on the right. This is gonna be the front of our box here. Now, when we adhere this down, we do wanna make sure the bottom of the egg doesn't go past the bottom of the box. Now, I decided that I didn't love the corners of the box appearing in the bottom, so that's where the grass piece comes in. Okay, now that is just die cut from Garden Green using the scalloped die in the Excellent Eggs dies. And this piece, I think I started with like 2 1/4 by 5/8 or by 7/8, just a little bit of a strip. And then when you place the die down, you can decide how tall you want your grass. Now I played around with this where I had the middle hump of the grass in the middle, and I didn't like the way that looked. I liked it with the 2 humps centered there. That just to me looked a little bit more like grass. So we're gonna add that last as the last piece, but that's how we're gonna hide the bottoms of the box there, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and put liquid glue, but I'm gonna keep liquid glue away from the 2 bottom corners. So see how I'm kind of doing that in a little bit of an egg shape. And then I'm gonna place this down. I do recommend liquid glue for this because I wanna make sure that I can stand up the box and the bottom of that egg doesn't go past the bottom, like so. And I'm just trying to make sure that the top of the egg is upright. It doesn't have to be perfect. But then I can come in and pinch from the inside of the box for a little bit of leverage. Thank you, Deb. All right, so there's that one. We're gonna do the same thing to the back here. Again, kind of staying away from those 2 lower corners. It's not the end of the world if you get adhesive there because we're gonna cover it with the grass as well. But I'm gonna go ahead and just place that. Now with this one, I can kind of eyeball. I've picked it up and I'm kind of looking, squinting an eye and looking to make sure those look like they're lined up. Also making sure I'm not going past the bottom there. And then just taking one quick look-see and holding into place. Or I should say pressing from the inside. Now what you can do also is put it flat on your surface and with your bone folder, which I think I have some adhesive on mine, come in and just press. And we'll do that on both sides. So actually really, really easy to go together. Now you can dress this up any way you want to. You don't have to do all the fancy intricate inlays there with the egg, but I just thought this die is just too cute not to show you how that works. Okay, so now we're gonna add our, through the magic of TV, I've already die cut the bunny, but I will show you. Oh, here's my little bunny here. What I love about the dies is the ones that are intended to cut out stamped images, you just layer those. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. You can just layer that right on there. And what I like to use is just a little bit of Post-it tape, which I don't even see my Post-it tape. Oh, Brian found it. Found it. So just a little bit of Post-it tape. Get that lined up here. Post-it tape kind of holds it in place, and then run it through your die cutting machine, and then you've got your cute little chocolate bunny. Again, that was pecan pie stamped with early espresso. All right, so this little guy, I'm gonna kind of eyeball this here. Want him kind of at an angle, and I think I'm going to trim off just a little bit of scissors, Julie. Just a little bit of my grass, about 1/8 of an inch off of each end. So really like a 2-inch piece. Let me measure that for you. Yeah, 2 inches wide should do the trick here. There you go. Okay. And all right, so let me do that to the other one. Just lining up the scallops here so that they're the same size. So 2 inches is better. Well, to me, to my eye. So do whichever width you think. Your ruler is really good for, I feel like a waiter at the restaurant with those little crumb scoopers. I love that ruler for that. All right, so again, eyeballing. Just gonna put a little bit of liquid glue on the back side of this guy. And then just using my reverse tweezers here. Pop him like right there. All right, and then I'm going to actually do dimensionals so that the grass has a little bit of dimension. And if you don't have space for the regular size dimensionals, just use the minis. But I'm going to put those two behind the middle scallops. And then I'm also making sure that that doesn't go past the bottom. Okay, so there's our little grass pad for our chocolate bunny, okay? And then we're gonna do the same thing on the back. For this one, I think I'm just gonna do liquid glue instead of dimensionals for that one. I'm not gonna go all the way to the edge. Yeah, that looks cuter on the back than an unfinished back. There we go. Let's see, is that straight? Cute. Okay, so get cleaned up a little bit. We're gonna add a little rhinestone to him, or to my egg. Let's see. Rhinestone basic jewels, these are like my go-to. I'm just gonna grab a medium one with the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool. Tidy myself up here. All right, and there is our Easter egg Easter egg teacup treat holder. So we can go ahead and put our little Reese's peanut butter egg in there. And there we have it. So we've got 2 different colored eggs here. Super cute. Now again, this one I didn't have a finished back, so it's totally up to you if you're conserving paper. This one does, and I think it just adds a little bit to where you got the front and the back that are similar. And again, you can flip-flop the teacup handle depending on whether you're right-handed or left-handed. You might be able to do something fun by adding 2. There's teacups with 2 handles. That could be cute. But again, that measurement of the handle was just under 3/4 by 5.5. But there we go. So let's go ahead and try a couple of different treats in that one. I have not done this ahead of time, so I don't know. I think a lot of it's a pretty good sized box in there. So we've got, Brian's looking for treats. That's one of those turtle bites, the Demet's turtle bites. Those are UK treats. So actually, I'll show that for my UK audience. The Altoids peppermints, those smalls, that's a perfect fit to go in there. If you've got some gold coins, those will fit as well. That's 3 of them. You can actually fit 4 in there, okay? Ghirardelli minis will go in there. 2 of them, okay? Brian's grabbing the Christmas chocolates. I don't think these are still out. Those were the Lindt snowflakes. Those will fit in there as well. Are you pulling things from the chat by any chance? Tic Tacs will fit. They're a little tall, but those will fit. York peppermint patty. I'm not sure you can get 2 of those in there, but 1 is still cute. So yeah, lots of things will fit. Again, it's 1 3/4 by 1 3/4 by 3/4. Okay. I'm trying to think if I've got some non-candy things that may fit. Oh, Brian brought out the love hearts. The Swizzles love hearts. Those will fit. Probably get a pair of them in there. In case you've not seen those, these are from the UK and they're delicious. It's a special gift from a fan. What I'm curious about is if the pocket backs will fit. I think they might be, too wide. So yeah, you would need to adjust the measurements. These are, I think, closer to 1 inch. That is not going to fit. The mini chap ices will. You can get 2 of them in there. So yeah.
Nuggets?
Nuggets. Do I have extra nuggets? Pull from a project from a couple weeks ago. Let's see how. Nuggets will fit, but I'm trying to figure out the best orientation here. Not side by side, it's just barely. But I think you could do 2 kind of sitting in there loose. Not a perfect fit though for those. Anything else, Brian?
No.
Okay. And if you're wondering about this project, I shared it a couple weeks ago. 2 weeks ago, I think. Episode 314, I believe. Oops. All right, so we're gonna jump into Q&A. As a reminder, first reminder, if you wanna grab the free project sheet, you'll find that linked in the description beneath this video. Just look for the words more and you can expand that. And if you do have questions for me tonight to answer live, put a Q in front of that question. That will make it into my queue, and let me get those teed up. Let's see. Q. Oh, hold on, I'm on the wrong screen. always do that. Terry's up with the first question. I love your 3D projects, but I miss you doing a card as well. Will you get back to that at some point? I hope to, Terry. For right now, just with life, I've just been focused on 3D projects because I have committed to come live with you every single Wednesday night, but I do hope to bring back a 3D project and a card, so stay tuned for that. I don't know why I put my, my mouse pad away. Oh, this is what happens when I'm live and I'm talking. Let's see. Could I show you how the record sleeves work with the 12 by 12 designer series paper, please? And thank you. Let's see. No, you're good. So Elizabeth's asking about the record sleeves. These are linked on my favorites page. You get 100 in a package on the Amazon listing I've got on my favorites page. Let's see. I'm just grabbing a full pack of paper that I have. So this is a full pack of the Countryside Inn. And those just fit right into those sleeves, no problem. These sleeves are great for storing really up to 4 packs of our 12 by 12. So our mega pack, the Delightfully Eclectic, which is a mega pack. It has 48 sheets. I believe it's 48 sheets of 12 by 12. That fits in these record sleeves really well. So great option. And with the sleeves, you can store both the full sheet as well as just throw the scraps in there as well. I also use the Stamp and Storage 12 by 12 pockets. They're a little bit of a heavier plastic. They don't hold as much paper as the record sleeves do. So if you're looking for more economical and a lot more space, but flimsier, the record sleeves are great. I love those. And then I also love the Stamp and Storage 12 by 12 pockets. These pockets do not fit in the IKEA Stamp and Storage, but I love these nonetheless. So, all right. Yvette, so they're going to share more information about the 2 new kits they are releasing, I believe, tomorrow. I think that's what, if you check the current updates from this week, Yvette, I'm pretty sure they said the 2 kits are releasing on February 1st. Okay. So Janet, to become a Pixie patron, there is a join button right near the subscribe button. Now, if you're using an iOS device and the YouTube app, you likely will not see the join button. So you want to go to YouTube on your browser, so like Safari or Chrome, and then go to YouTube there, youtube.com/thepaperpixie, and you'll find the join button there. You can also go to my magic link, which is thepaperpixie.com/patron to join Pixie Patron. So a couple different ways there. Welcome, Phil429. Let's see. When you score, is it on the right side of the paper or the back side, or does it matter? Okay, so there's not necessarily a right or wrong side, unless you're talking about patterned paper and trying to determine which side is the outside versus the inside. So with cardstock, the best way that I have to explain it, and sometimes it's still really confusing to understand because you fold opposite the way you would think. So the side that you are scoring on is going to create a valley score line. So a score line that goes in, okay? Or creates a V, I should say. You're then going to want to fold that into a mountain or an A. It's hard to explain, but the side you score on is going to create a valley line, and you're going to fold it so that it becomes a mountain line. So the side you score on is actually going to be the outside of your box, and then you're going to fold it to create a mountain. So valley to mountain. I hope that that helps. But you basically score the opposite way you would think. So when you score, it almost looks like you also need to fold your paper the same way. So you're scoring and creating a V. You would think you'd score it that way, but you're actually going to fold it. I can't do that with my hands, but go this way. You go this way. I am playing YMCA, so this to this, okay? Oh, that's a great question, though. Let's see. I think, because I looked at the South Pacific or the Australia Stampin' Up! Website, and they did get some additional celebration items. That, if it happens here in the U.S., it will be tomorrow, okay? I think it looks like it's catalog products in Australia. And if you want to check out what Australia has, you can just go to stampinup.com and change the country to Australia and take a peek there. Did I ever get the stamp set with the Easter eggs and you had to cut a zigzag and a little chick would be put in and looked like it was hatching? Need to go look and see if I still have it. I don't think I got that stamp set, Marcy, but I know which one you're talking about. I've seen a lot of samples on Pinterest looking for Easter egg type projects. So go check out Pinterest and you might be able to put your hands on what that one's called. I can't remember off the top of my head what that stamp set was called. I want to say it might have been from last year's January to April mini catalog, but Pinterest should help you pinpoint that one. Sorry, it's not a question, but that made me laugh. You saw Humpty Dumpty fall out of the cellophane bag. Oh, too cloudy day. I've got 3 of the same question from you. So I actually unhooked that camera. Brian doesn't love to be on camera, so I gave him the option. But we will get him on camera when it's his turn to make a project for y'all, so don't worry, you'll get to see him. We also had a big meanie in the chat too, and they got banned from the channel. They made a comment, right? That was, yeah, they went bye-byes. My channel, my rules. Okay, let's see. What do you do with the projects that you make once you've made them? They are adorable. So I typically give them out. I usually make 2 or 3, and I'll take them to my nail technician. Sometimes my UPS driver gets them if they're not too girly. So yeah, I try to give them out. I miss the days when I could make a bunch for my kids' daycare classes. Right now, their school doesn't let us make treats for holidays. But I am going on a business retreat, and we'll be making some swaps for that as well. So I will share that with you too. So the scraps of paper, Pam, it depends on the size. If they are, my typical rule of thumb is if they're under about, it depends. I'm going to just say if they're under, if the scraps are under an inch, they go in the trash. Well, the trash or recycling. If they're larger than 2 inch, especially with like designer series paper, I will just put them in with the full pack of paper. With my cardstock, I also have this pocket. It's open on 2 sides. This is Stampin' Storage, 8.5 by 11. And that's where I put all of my cardstock scraps. So you can kind of see, I haven't used a lot of this color, but these are kind of the size of scraps that I would hang on to. The other rule of thumb I have is if any one of these pockets gets too full to where I can't fit the full sheets of cardstock, it's time for me to let the scraps go. So I give you permission to let scraps go if they're overtaking the space that you have set aside for your paper, okay? So yeah, 1 to 2 inches is about my threshold. I don't typically keep things smaller than that. Cardstock's pretty cheap when you're getting down to that size of cardstock, so I typically will recycle or trash. And then if my cardstock, or if my scrap pockets are getting too full, I will clear those out and start fresh, okay? All right, let's see. I am letting it grow out a little bit, Cindy. I don't think much longer, but yes, thank you. I'm not sick of it yet. Oh. I do, Edie. The coupon code for Total Element is Paper Pixie, and you'll get 10% off for that. So Total Element is a US-based company. I love their neodymium rare earth magnets. I've got a link on my favorites page to the exact magnets that I use. And if you use coupon code Paper Pixie, you'll get 10% off of that order. They've got free shipping too. good prices. Do the record sleeves fit into the IKEA units? They do not, Jean. So they don't fit into the Stampin' Storage IKEA sized paper shelves. So one of the other storage things that I've used and loved in the past is actual record storage. There's record storage boxes. There's, it's like sheet pan storage that you can store your, I'm doing it like this way, but that you can store your record sleeves upright. That's also a great storage solution as well. And I've also seen people cut down their designer series paper to like 6x6 so that it's more uniform and manageable size. So there's lots of options. Paper storage is one of the, well, really any type of craft organization is a really personal decision because it's all based on sort of how your creative mind works and the easiest way for you to find things and the storage space that you have to store in. So lots of different ideas. All right, let's see. I scrolled down too far. Okay. Is there a way to get the images on Stampin' Up! For retired stamps and dies? I'm trying to make an album. Good question, Yvette. I have a little bit of a trick, but it depends on how far back you're going. If you were to, on any image on the Stampin' Up! Website, if you right-click and I think open in a new tab, you can grab that link and just change the item number and see if that will bring up the image for you. Otherwise, you can do like a web search for images. A lot of times those are still all out there in the interwebs for you to grab the photos. So web search, or you can try the image link and just changing the item number and see if that works for you. How did I create the black line on my scoreboard? I actually just used a Sharpie, Pascal. So Sharpie, and the point of the Sharpie fits right in the scoring groove, and I just colored right down the 6-inch mark. Let's see. Do I do anything special to keep your cardstock safe from ambient humidity? I do not do anything special. I actually haven't had difficulty with humidity here in Atlanta. We have high humidity, and some of my cardstock, I don't know if you can tell, it is a little bit curved, but that typically is a result of when the paper is cut, the curve kind of coincides with the side that the big blades came down on. So I always find that when I have a fresh pack of cardstock, it's still a little bit curved because that's the side that it was chopped. Because Stampin' Up! Gets their cardstock in really big sheets and then they cut them down to the 12 by 12 and the 8.5 by 11. But other than that, I haven't had issues with additional humidity causing problems. But I can recommend, we've got a dehumidifier in our mudroom. If you've got problems in your craft space with that, I'd recommend maybe thinking about adding a dehumidifier for that. They're not too large and you just empty the water out, and they're fairly inexpensive too, so. Let's see. Oh, this is a great tip. It's not a question, but I want to pop this one up from Cliffy. She always cuts her pieces of scrap paper into proper shapes, can't be cut into a square rectangle, into the trash bin they go. That's also a great suggestion as well. Have I ever spoken with the paper designers? Not directly Snow Shadow, but Stampin' Up! Does a lot of great videos about our product suites to where they'll bring in the concept artists, especially for the real artistic papers that we have. They'll come in and show us like the artwork that they created that inspired, or was the, photographs were taken of the artwork for the designer series paper. So if you can get a chance to check out some of our product suite videos at Stampin' Up! Or on the Stampin' Up! YouTube channel, you can learn a lot about or hear from the designers themselves and their creative process and how they came up with their patterns. So Stampin' Up! Does a really great job of sharing that with us. Alrighty, I have reached the end of the questions. Thank you guys so much for joining me tonight. I can't believe it is January 31st. We will be live again next Wednesday. That will be February, I don't even know what day that is, February 7th. Tomorrow's the 1st. Yeah, I think that's February 7th, 2024. I'll be live again next Wednesday, and I hope you'll come back and join us 8 p.m. Eastern Time. As always, all you need are stamps, ink, and a little paper pixie. Celebration is now through February 29th, where you can earn free products with purchases or joining the Stampin' Up! Family. You can find the project sheet for tonight's episode linked down in the description. I will also, after the live stream, sometimes it takes till tomorrow to process the video, but I will add chapters so that when you come back to the video, you can jump around to the very specific parts of the video to save you some time. And as always, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you have a wonderful and blessed week. Here's a special shout out to my Pixie patrons. We're so grateful for your support of the channel. Thank you. Have a wonderful and blessed week. We'll see you next Wednesday. Take good care. Bye.